You're listening to Jimbo and Casio on Rocket 95.1.
Hey, it's Jimbo and Casio from Rocket 95.1, Ed from the Deep Comics and Games, and we are here to talk Gotham, or as Casio calls it, Gotham.
Yeah.
We chose to talk about this week, guys, didn't we agree on Alfred Pennyworth?
Yes.
The butler, Bruce Wayne's butler. He's a fixture, of course, in the show and all the movies, and he's been in every Batman rendition that there has been, and of course he's in this one too. How do you... He's got a backstory, I feel like, because last night, it's funny that you wanted to talk about Alfred today, because last night I found myself watching him. Something's going on with him.
He is British Royal Navy. He was hired away. He's been a lot of different things. Originally, he was just a butler, and he tried to play detective, and he would accidentally catch the criminals, and he was just kind of a comedy relief.
In the comics, you mean?
In the comics, yeah. But now in the comics, they've really got him. He's a computer engineer. He programs all of Batman's computers for him, and he's always behind the scenes helping. So Batman will get on his microphone and say, "Hey, I need information about this guy." And Pennyworth will find it. He's also, as they showed, he's teaching Bruce Wayne fencing. He's a martial artist, although not as skilled as Batman. But and he now in the comic books. This is not going to affect the show. In the comic books, he now has a daughter, who's MI6.
Which is England's Secret Service. Do you think that Bruce Wayne, maybe in this particular show, was inspired to learn martial arts from Alfred?
I don't know. From the fencing, it kind of looks like Alfred kind of made it a game of, hey, let's play this, and so he's working on training him. Probably not training him intentionally to be Batman, but training him to be a well-versed, being able to defend himself kind of guy.
That's kind of what hit me last night. I guess I don't. When you don't think of things, you just know Batman, and hey, there's a new Batman movie coming out, or when you're a kid, it's a Batman comic. It hit me last night how much you don't think about, for that storyline to work, how much Alfred had to influence him, because he was his parents, and now we're seeing that Lieutenant Gordon will become the commissioner, but how he's getting into his life and helping, he's going to help shaping as well.
Definitely.
I don't think it really hit me that he was at an impressionable age, and somebody had to get him to kind of the Bruce Wayne that we know as an adult. It hit me last night how much he's really going to affect his how he turns out.
How Alfred's going to affect Bruce Wayne?
Yeah,
I think that, and Gordon, and involving him in all the investigations is getting him at a young age interested in investigating.
Well, even the last night show, he ordered all the files into the house. He wanted to learn all he could about these things and these events that are happening, and this the mob that's in town, and that shows. I mean, what is he, 12 or 13? So he's not really focusing on any one thing right now, but he's interested in the detective part of it now. He hadn't been interested in the toy part of it yet, the Batman stuff yet. I guess the Batman equipment and all that comes later when he's able to go down to Wayne Enterprises and order it and have it made, or find it in the basement like he did in one of the movies, whatever.
And I think his actual parents would probably be saying, Bruce, why have you got pictures of decapitated people on the table? You're 12, whereas Alfred is going, that's interesting. What can we do with this?
Well, to that point, and to what your point as well, it also shows that how much that Alfred knows. I mean, he knows everything that's in there. He knows everything that Wayne Enterprises is, no matter if it was the comics or the movies. He like you said, he had the toys. He's teaching him this. He's teaching him that. He knows where to get him the files. I mean, he's like, is there any more files? He's like, yeah, there's tons of them. So the fact that he even knows that they're there, knows that he knows, I guess, more than you assume going in.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant when I said there's something going on with Alfred, because he obviously he was close to the parents, to the Waynes, and so they knew all of this was from the Waynes. So maybe he was more of a confidant than we've been told in some previous books or movies.
His superhero name should probably be the Enabler.
Yeah, it's a good call.
But they've made a lot of stuff in the comics saying the Waynes were into a lot more than you think. They weren't just, hey, let's do some land development and improve the city. That they were into a lot of political stuff and a lot of stuff like that.
It's like in the end of the first episode of Gotham, and the second episode, Falcone tells Gordon, the Waynes knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're basically working together. Basically, was saying we're in bed together to make things work. There's got to be, there's got to be a balance there. So he basically told him that the Waynes, you don't ever think, well, the Waynes were just this rich family that were trying to help everybody do good.
Yeah, no.
And you're like, wait, they're in bed with the mob a little bit.
Oh, they were a for-profit enterprise.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you could go so far as to say they were in bed with the mob, but I think they realized that the mob is there, and to get your goals, you're going to have to work around them.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they had any problem with that, but they wanted to make everything better, but they realized you can't just dump it all at once. You can't just level it all and build it from scratch. You had to put brick here and brick
Well, there's our thoughts on Alfred Pennyworth on Gotham. We're going to do a character a week, as long as the show lasts.
Do we agree, though, that the guy, by the way, that plays Alfred is smashing it?
Oh, he's awesome.
He does a great job. Superly casted.
He does an Assassin's Creed voice, your favorite video game.
Yeah, we went and looked at his history. I knew nothing about him, and he a lot of video games, a lot of course, BBC stuff. But yeah, he's a spectacular job.
So email us. You can comment on this if you want to, whatever. Let us know your thoughts on Alfred and the show. And we're going to come back next week and talk about somebody else in the show. And that's how this will work. Jimbo and Casio, Ed from the Deep Comics and Games. We'll see you next week.
Next week, let's talk about Iron Man.